Pedal down the open road, catch a fish where rivers flow, flying high where drones do go, bike and fish and
Hi, this is Mario Knapp and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to adjust the color grading and for the sky in drone videos and also in drone photographs. And I'll use two different programs. I'll use DaVinci Resolve, and I use the studio version. I think this is available in the free version. And I'm going to use a free for videos. And for photographs, you could actually use DaVinci Resolve Studio or the free version for photographs as well. But it's photographs are better handled in a free program called RawTherapee. And I'll show you how to use that. And, sometimes if you want to get the exposure correct for the ground, the land area, you blow out the sky. And if you want to get the sky correct, then the ground area is too dark. And I'm going to show you how to use graduated filters in both Resolve and in RawTherapee to make the sky look perfect. And so here's a video that I shot. Oh, before I go on, I bought the studio version of Resolve Thanksgiving 2 years ago during the Black Friday sale, where they were selling the speed editor for $295, and the speed editor comes with a free version, the free studio version of DaVinci Resolve. So if you're in the market for a speed editor, wait for a Thanksgiving sale or a Black Friday sale, and you'll get Studio for free. And I was in the market for DaVinci Resolve Studio, so when I saw that, I basically got the speed editor for free. And I love the speed editor, and you'll see me using it when I make this video. So this is some of the I just shot in my neighborhood over my house, and what I did here was when I shot this video, I got the correct exposure, or the exposure that I wanted, and I froze it by turning off the auto exposure, and I just froze the ISO and the shutter speed, because I didn't want, if a cloud came over the blocked the sun, I didn't want it to start changing exposures all around. And also, what I'm going to show you here is that using the graduated filter, if you change the level of the horizon, then you're going to have to make cuts in your clip and adjust the graduated filter. So it's best if you leave the horizon at the same position. And normally I wouldn't shoot with the horizon near the half to 50% level here. I would do maybe the rule of thirds and have that maybe the third top section. But I want to show you this the effect of the graduated filter, so I have it right about the 50% mark. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is this was shot in D-Log-M. And so I've already put the LUT in here. Let me reset this node. So this is what it looks like right out of the camera, out of the drone. This is shot in D-Log-M. And if you go to the DJI website, you can actually download the LUT for, this is for the Air 3S to D-Log-M, and you can get it for the Mini 4 Pro and probably older drones as well. I don't know if they have it for the Air 2S. So you just take that and you drag it on top of this thing, which I labeled LUT. So now this is the color corrected version. It doesn't look that bad, but we're going to fix it up a little bit. So I'm going to add some more nodes here. So you just hit Alt-S, and I have one too many, so let's just delete that one. And now this last one, I want to convert. I want a parallel node. And we want this one to be node label. We want this one to be exposure. And this one, contrast. Now you don't need to, you can do them all on one node, but sometimes you want to see the effect of things that you're doing. It's best to put them on separate nodes. And then temperature. And then here we'll put sky, and this is where we put the graduated filter. And I'll show you the effects of turning it on and off. And this is also, this one here is just going to be sharpened. Okay, so we added a lot. Now we'll change the exposure. So we'll click on this node, and sometimes if it's too dark, I'll increase the shadows. You can see how it's. And if you look, okay, yeah, but I want to darken that a little bit. So shadows are around minus 16 or so. And if you look at the scopes here, you can see the blues are a lot higher, and that's probably because the blue sky is dominating. You can make it. Well, let's change the gain. Yeah, that looks better. Brighten up the bottom a little bit, and you could change the. You could add some. So that's the exposure, right? So we adjusted, and you could change all this. Oh, it looks like this went a little too high. Let's lower the gain a little. The scopes really shouldn't be above that. Let's change the offset. And there's the gamma. And highlights, adjust the top a little bit. See, we brought the highlights down. And again, all right, so you could keep playing with this until you can learn what best suits you. So that midtones, that looks good. All right, so now we've done exposure. Now I click on contrast, and you can change the contrast. Add it a little bit. Again, this is all personal preference, and I'm going to probably over adjust this so that you can see differences. And then now we could change. We could also add some color boost. That's way too much. And then if you wanted to adjust the temperature here, you see the blue scope is much higher than the red. You could click on temperature, and now you could go here and change the temperature a little bit. See the blue scope is coming down. Again, this is all personal preference, the effect you're trying to achieve. Let's add a little more contrast. Okay, so now we have to adjust the, so these all are done. Now we'll go to the sharpness. So click on sharpness, and click on this, looks like a drop in a triangle. And you go to this down here, and make it 0.47. So that increases the sharpness. Now we'll go to the sky, and click on the window. It's labeled window, looks like a circle. Then you go down to the bottom left square, click on that. Then you go up here and you click on the curves, and now you get, this is where you can adjust the sky. See how you're darkening the sky. Now you click back on the circles, and you can raise it or lower this to exactly where you want it to be. See how the sky coloring is changing? And you can make it right there. So now you see the horizon's in always the same place. So if you were to change that horizon, you're going to have to change the level that this is at. Okay, so that's pretty much, go back to the curves here if you want to adjust how much you're darkening this. Maybe that was a little too much. That's pretty much where it was. And let's just darken it a little bit there, like that. And you click back to here, and you can adjust where the graduated filter is. So you got to be careful you don't cut the tops of the trees off. So that's pretty much it. So now I have another, I did this before already. Let's go back to the edit page. And I'll go to timeline 1. So this is like a before and after. And you can see the sharpness even goes way up when you adjust that sharpness. You can't adjust it too much, and then you now the sky here may be a little bit too dark, and we can adjust that if we want. But it's personal preference. But that's how you can really make the sky, the colors of the sky, a little more intense, and you don't blow out you don't darken the ground below where you can't see it. Okay, so now what happens if you just wanted to do an image? Well, what you can do is if you wanted to do just an image, and okay, by the way, I'm rolling this back and forth using the scroll wheel on the speed editor, so I really enjoy having that. And you can see here, you see the sky. You can see it makes a big difference in the way the sky looks when you have clouds. Look at that. That looks so much better. And look at the detail in the roofs. You can see it's so much better. And again, I made this a little warmer because I was adjusting the color temperature. And okay, so now let's go to RawTherapee. Let me load a picture I took. It's one of the. All right, so as you can see, again, this is just the picture as it came out of the drone. I basically just downloaded it. And now if you look here, this is RawTherapee. I just opened it up. This is not a tutorial on RawTherapee. It's not very hard to use. I basically watched a few videos on it, and it's let me get this one here instead. And what I did was when I took these pictures, this is probably better. What I did was I bracketed the frames so that I had one that was underexposed, a little overexposed, and this is the middle one. So I think this is the one that's the correct exposure. And we're gonna make this look a little better. And when you open up RawTherapee, you get this right-hand panel, and you have more than that. You have 3 or 4 levels here of commands that you can execute. So the first one is exposure, and so the bottom looks pretty good. So you have exposure, you have saturation, contrast, lightness, shadows, a lot of the same stuff that you had in DaVinci Resolve. And then you have a vignette filter, and then on the bottom here you have your graduated filter. One of the things you have to know in RawTherapee, to activate any of these, you got to click this little icon to the left. So they won't turn on. You can play with all these sliders you want, but unless you click this on, nothing is going to change. So we're going to go to lightness. And you can see I'm actually darkening a little bit because I thought it was a little washed out. So, and it's also the sky is darkening here, but we'll darken the sky some more using this graduated filter. And then if you go to the third, what's called labeled color, you can make it a little warmer, as I did in the video. That's a little too much. Okay, and then let's go back to here. We could change the contrast a little. Let's increase the contrast. Sometimes I move the slider just to make so I can see what's going on. And the saturation, increase the saturation a little. And you have shadows here if you want to increase the shadows again. Oh, but see, nothing's changing because I didn't click this little icon here. So now we can change the shadows. I'm going to keep those where it was. And now if you go down to the bottom, you also have a vignette, but I'm not going to use the vignette. So you graduated filter, and you can see that it already darkened it. And then you click this little button here. Now this shows you pretty much what we had in the DaVinci Resolve. You can bring this down a little bit, and then you could the strength, the angle, the feathering. So you could bring this closer. Depends on it. You could actually make it a straight line, or you could feather it out a little bit. And then you could change the X and Y, but in this case, you could just grab that center dot and move it around. Oops. And decrease the shadows a little bit. Increase the saturation. Okay, so that's the altered version. This is that's the original version. So that shows you the difference between color grading it a little bit and darkening the sky using RawTherapee versus what the original looked like. So this is free software. Now I'm working on raw images, which is it's 50 megapixels. It's 50 megapixels. It does work on JPEG. I think it works a little better on raw files. And then if you want to export it, on the lower left-hand corner here, you just have disk icon, and you could do JPEG. You could do 16-bit TIFF or even 16-bit PNG. I would, if you're going to use this for social media, don't use 16-bit because the files are going to be too big and it won't even load up to Facebook. I tried it. So you can, and then export the file, give it whatever name you want, and that's it. So you have now two ways which you can darken the sky, accentuate the clouds like you see in this picture here, versus using DaVinci Resolve, and you could also do the same in RawTherapee for images. Now I do want to say that in DaVinci Resolve, what you can do is if you wanted to, let's say, export this image right here. Oh, it goes to the beginning. So let's go back to when you clicked on it. What you would do is, what I would do is this. I would deactivate, disable the top one, go back here, right click on it, say grab still, and if you go up into gallery, you see now you have the picture right there. And then you could export this with output LUT, and then you have, or export it with display LUT, and then you have the same picture that's already been modified from your video. But if you had just an image, you could do the same thing. You load an image onto your timeline and work with it in Resolve, but I think it's easier just to use RawTherapee. The commands are pretty similar. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave comments, and I hope you make better videos with better looking skies. Thanks for watching. Till next time.
Fishing by the tranquil seas, flying drones above the trees. Life's a game, no guarantees.